Presentation I did today was talking about the work we do at the Eviction Defense Project and talking about the return on investment in terms of value that we provide as a result of the work. Well, our project's unique in that we use volunteer attorneys to provide pro bono brief service representation to tenants who are in court for eviction cases. So generally, most clients that we're working with have their first court appearance that day. They come into court, they don't have representation, and they see our office. They basically sign up for assistance that afternoon. A lot of tenants, unfortunately, don't know what their rights are, what their legal arguments could be. So tenants may not realize that procedurally there are a lot of steps landlords have to take in order to properly file and to pursue an eviction. And if the landlord fails to take those steps, that can be a defense to the eviction action. Because tenants don't have the legal training, because they're not aware of these issues, they may not raise a defense that they have and they may be evicted. Tenants may also be in circumstances where they don't really have a defense, but because of the extreme nature of their circumstances, they're willing to sign a stipulation in order to avoid the eviction just for that day, just to set it aside. Whereas having the benefit of a trained attorney who's emotionally less attached to the case and able to provide objective, reasoned advice is incredibly beneficial, because tenants know what they're getting into, what they're signing up for. They know what the consequences are if they're not able to do it. And having an attorney there to negotiate and advocate for them can result in better and more realistic terms that is likely to be beneficial, not just for the tenant, but for the landlord as well. In 2016, the last year before we launched, was that there were about 13,500 eviction cases filed. Tenants had attorneys in only 112 of those cases. So about over 13,000 tenants did not have representation in their case. Last year, the number of evictions, my understanding is it was just south of 14,000. And setting our group of represented tenants aside, I anticipate that the percentage of unrepresented pro se tenants would be about the same. So the vast majority, probably 99, 98% of tenants, if they're not getting representation from us, are going to have a hard time finding a lawyer to represent them in court.